floating head of Scott.
All right. Boys and girls, we are launching the Wednesday session, the sales session of the 2020 COVID blocking path of all the virus stuff that's out there. We've got Ted Franzen on the line here, bud, Vice President ABC. I know we saw a lot of you guys this year. I'm going to let him say a few words now. Ted, are you ready to go, bud?
I'm here.
All right.
All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Zoom meeting for today. I just wanted to reach out, and like I said in the beginning, that I'd been out and visited quite a few, 24 to be exact, ABC Seamless franchises, and one of them was a new addition, which was Jeremy and Courtney out of Bemidji, Minnesota. And by the way, they're knocking it out of the park. They're doing a great job. Hardworking couple. They really are thriving to succeed and be successful. So thumbs up to those folks. And then we got Tom and Nikki out in Brainerd, Minnesota. I was scheduled to go meet with them last week, and then Minnesota got shut down, so I wasn't able to go see them. And then I have talked to Jay and Dylan out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It's a father-son team, so I'm really excited to see those two work together and grow this Stevens Point to a successful facility. I don't know when I'm going to get to see them yet, but then I got Graham over in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went down to New Mexico and spent about 4 or 5 days with him, maybe three or four. Anyway, great facility down there, tons of potential. Graham's a sharp fella, but I really believe that we got 4 brand new additions to our franchise system that they have a bright future, and that is a reflection on the bright future that ABC as a whole has, because as the older dealers start to retire and pass it on or sell it, there's going to be a lot more of these transfers, and it's not a scary thing. I think it's a positive thing. So all of you existing dealers and new ones coming in, and older dealers, I hope you see these transitions as a positive and as a bright future for ABC Seamless, because I do. That was one of the reasons why I invested in it. So anyway, I just wanted to give a thumbs up and a hello out to the new guys and hello out to the existing guys, and looking forward to a good day of Zoom meetings with is it Tom Trabue, whatever. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, have a good day, and you guys can always call me or email me directly if there is any questions or concerns or anything else. But one other thing, ABC University, we're going to be launching ABC University in Nebraska, in Lincoln, Nebraska, starting in February. I have not solidified the dates yet but we're going to start with the sales training process, which is a 3-day training event. And I would like, if we could, all the dealers or any dealers that are interested in this, we're looking for about, I think, 5 to maybe up to 10 people that would be interested. So please email me or reach out via text or phone if that is something that you guys are interested in. And that way we can kind of get a head count for the interest level. Following that, we will be doing our marketing / office manager or office organization portion of our training. And then we'll follow that up with, hopefully we'll have some decent weather here in Nebraska, and follow it up with our installation / light machine training. So that is how we're going to be rolling it out here for 2021, a bright future. Again, have a great day. Reach out if you need anything. Thanks, Scott.
Hey, thanks, Ted. That was awesome. Looking forward to that coming down the road. One of the reasons why they haven't solidified dates, of course, is, the stuff that we're going through, the traveling stuff. So it's not like they don't want to get it going sooner than later. It's just, it's been kind of handicapped a little bit, done as fast as it can get done. So now I'm going to jump on. Thanks, Ted, again. I appreciate it. Right now we're going to be introducing Tom Trabue. Is that right? Trabue. All right. So even I got it wrong. There we go.
You were really close. It's all good.
All right. So we're pleased to welcome Tom. He's with Next Step. He's going to be speaking with us today about, are you committed or just interested? This is a great segment. I saw some of your stuff online and really enjoyed it. Actually, Diana, is it Cowing, right? She actually talked to Ted about how much she enjoyed working with you. I think she worked with you for a short duration of time, right?
We're in a BNI chapter together, so we do networking together, and I really appreciate Diana doing that.
That's great. So now you just have to raise the bar again because one of ours said that you'd be good speakers. So, Tom, you live in mid-Missouri, very active in the business community, right?
Yes, sir.
A Rotarian, I guess I am undereducated on what that is. What is that?
So Rotary is a service
Rotarian.
organization, been in existence for probably 100 years that provides service to the community.
Fantastic. Active member of Toastmasters, Chamber of Commerce ambassador, a community organizer for the 1 Million Cups. You've been in business for how many years? 40, 50?
Yeah, I've been in the business community for 40 years or so. The white hair kind of gives it away, but doing business coaching full time for about 4 years.
And then a lot of clients after we get through Tom with the next couple of days, they say many people have experienced revenue increases from even 25 to 40% the first year working together. Now that'd be a fantastic goal. But at that point, I am going to stop talking, but we're going to welcome Tom up on the stage here that's on the Zoom environment and let him buck and go through. And then hopefully at the end, we have a few minutes for questions, but I'm going to be monitoring Chris and myself are going to be monitoring the chat box. So typically we'll interrupt you if we feel it's important. Otherwise, we'll just let you keep on going. Okay.
No problem at all. Anytime.
Tom, you did mention that you didn't mind if people unmuted themselves and asked directly the question to you. Is that still okay to do that?
That would be fine. As long as it doesn't get out of control, and I'll let you guys kind of monitor that.
Sure.
If it gets out of control, then we'll figure something out.
The only person that gets out of control is Chris, and he's muted right now. So okay, let's get rolling. Let's not waste any time. And Tom, you got the floor. Thank you, sir, for being a part of this.
Very good. Thank you for the intro, Scott. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly. Hope everyone can see that.
Yep, we've got it pulled up. No problem.
Awesome. I'm doing a little bit of housekeeping here on my desktop. This whole Zoom environment these days, we all kind of feel like one-armed paper hangers and all this stuff going on in our home offices. But hey, thank you, Scott. Really, it's a real honor to present the workshop today. And again, a special thanks to Diana for reaching out to Ted. Diana and I have been able to work together with our BNI chapter, and I shared with her that I love to speak to large groups and national conferences, and she said, I know somebody. And so I'm glad we've been able to put this together. As a business coach and a consultant, I have the opportunity to work with clients across all different industries. But I've worked in the design and construction industry as a professional engineer for more than 35 years. And so it's a real treat for me to kind of get back closer to my roots with you guys in the construction industry. As we go through the workshop today, I'd encourage you to keep a notepad handy. Think about how the things that I'm talking about might apply to you or your teams. My hope is that something I will say provides kind of that light bulb moment that propels you and your team to greater success in 2021 and beyond. At the end of the workshop, I'm going to provide a link to my website as well. And I think that was also provided in the agenda. Thank you for that, Scott. But there's a link that I've set up specifically for ABC Seamless that includes some free resources that I'll be talking about today as well. So before we get started, we all have a little bit different experience with Zoom during this pandemic. And so I always like to show a couple of hints that I think will help you have a better Zoom experience today. Number one, everybody's pretty good about this. I recommend that you mute yourself so we can kind of minimize any background noise or interruptions. Of course, if you've got something you want to say, feel free to pop it in the chat or interrupt me. That's not a problem at all. This isn't a really large group. I think we can make that work. I personally like to be able to see the slides and the person who's doing the talking. And to do this, select view options at the top of your Zoom window and choose side by side. Grab the view tab up in the upper right-hand corner and select side by side speaker. And then you'll see a vertical line separating the slides from the speaker view. And you can slide that back and forth, left to right, to adjust the screen width for the slides. And I kind of recommend that the slides take up about 60 to 65% of the window, and that the presenter take up the remaining 35 or 40%. And then lastly, I recommend right-clicking on My Image and selecting Pin Speaker. That'll keep my image on the screen and not flip back and forth, if someone else is unmuted. All of these settings are completely within your control, and you can set them however you would like. These are just some tips that I've found through several of the meetings that I've done, really help enhance your experience. And most of you guys are familiar with the chat feature, so we don't need to talk about that, but feel free to use the chat feature. And really, just to get us started, you guys all know each other pretty well, but I don't have a clue who anyone is. So if you wouldn't mind, just pop into the chat really quickly and put your name and where you're located. And if you'd like, kind of put in there what you hope to get out of this workshop today. And I'll try to take a gander at that as we get going. But I'd sure appreciate that if you don't mind doing that. And so today, are you committed or just interested? And this is more than just a catchy title or rhetorical question. This is something that I ask all of my coaching clients when we evaluate their personal and business strategies. And as we talk, I love to ask them, is this just a passing fancy, or is this something that you genuinely want to accomplish? And are you willing to do the work it takes to be successful? As Scott mentioned in the intro, many of my clients see growth, 20, 30, 40%. I was talking with one of my clients yesterday, and he shared with me that they've just gotten their numbers in, and they're probably going to be at 50% growth in a pandemic year, which is absolutely incredible. And what's really cool about it is we started with written goals in December of 2019. And he's blown through those and passed them. And we're looking at 25% growth next year. And I asked him these same questions. Are you willing to do the work it takes to be successful? And he said, absolutely. I'm absolutely committed to that. So each year, about this time, for the planners in us, January or February for the procrastinators, we tend to engage in this process of setting resolutions. We make promises to ourselves related to health and fitness, financial, friends, or family. I want to lose 20 pounds, or this is the year I make strides toward paying off student loans or getting out of debt. Some of us want to learn a second language or spend more time with our families. Our companies and teams engage in various types of goal setting processes as well. Many times the goals are set by leadership and directed down to the teams. We do a really good at the idea stage. It's the execution stage where we skip some steps and set ourselves up for failure. So in the next 30 to 40 minutes or so, I'd like to provide an overview of some techniques and tools that you can use individually and with your teams to cast a vision, set goals, and most importantly, to create a strategy for execution that will raise the level of commitment to accomplishing these goals. And this seems overwhelming to a lot of folks, but we'll break it down into some steps. And again, if a question comes to you while I'm talking, jot it down in the chat and I'll try to answer it as we go along or at the end. Scott, if you see something in the chat and I miss it, just interrupt me and we'll grab that as we go. So another thing, if you want, put in the chat, do you consider yourself a goal setter? And, how do you rate yourself on setting goals for you and your team from a 1 to 10? With a 1 being I've heard about goal setting before, and a 10 being I set personal and team goals every year. and we look at them on a regular basis. So moving from interested to committed starts first with clarifying your priorities and casting a vision of your future. As we go through the workshop, I'm going to jump back and forth with references to individuals and teams. The approach and processes for individuals and teams are very similar. But based on my experience, I found that the best way to make your team better is to first make you better. And starting with a blank page can be really scary. And to alleviate that, I much prefer to respond to prompts like the following questions. Where am I now? Before we can cast a vision, it's important to take inventory of where we are in our personal life and where we are with our teams, with our company. And for individuals, I recommend that you use the life wheel as a guide. Some of you may have seen this before. The life wheel is a visual tool to help you understand how balanced or fulfilled your life is in various categories at this particular moment in time. And I think this is a great tool to help clarify priorities for goal setting. Think about it as a wagon wheel. There are 10 categories, and you rate yourself from 1 to 10 on each of the spokes of the wheel. When you get done and connect the dots, you see a representation of where you feel you currently are in these life priority areas. If you're well balanced among these 10 categories, then the wheel rolls along pretty smoothly. But most of us have some flat spots on our wheel, and we're kind of bumping along on this journey we call life. We can go through a similar exercise with our teams and ask, where is my team right now? Where is my team physically, emotionally? Do I have the right people, and are they in the right places? What tools and resources are currently available to us? Software, hardware, coaching, the training that Ted talked about that you guys are going to be setting up as we roll into the new year. What tools and resources are available to you? The maturity of the team leader and or the team may dictate who performs the inventory, but I think it's best when the team is engaged and included in the process. And while we use the life wheel for individuals, I think that the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, is one of the best ways to take inventory of where your team or company is. Many of you have probably participated in a SWOT analysis in the past, and you will remember that the SWOT analysis is an exercise that allows you to brainstorm on these 4 areas. So question number 1 was, where am I now? Where is my team now? And it leads us right to question number 2. And I'll share with you these questions I'm going through. These are available on my website on the resource page that I'm providing for you. So if you miss taking these notes, you can always go to the website to pick those up after the workshop. But the second question is, where do I want to be? And so going back to the life wheel categories again, what areas am I not accomplishing what I want? Where maybe I've got a flat spot on the wheel there. If I were to make it a focused effort in this area, where would I like it to be? And then be very specific about defining what success will look like at the end of the year. I really can't stress that enough. We talk about success. A lot of thought leaders talk about success. We read books about success. But I think it's really important that you define what success is for you. You define what success will be for your team. So for example, becoming more physically fit is a common personal goal. I will have been successful, again, that stress on success, if I reach my target weight of 175 pounds or a target body mass index of 22.5. I will have been successful if I have date night each week with my spouse or a special daddy-daughter date. I will have been successful if I have lunch with my mom or my dad. Some people like to start with a little bit broader list. And I got this idea from the employees at 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Immediately after getting hired, they're encouraged to develop a list, 101 things I would like to accomplish in my life. I really think that's a great way to start your mind flowing. It's a little bit like a bucket list, but 101 things I'd like to accomplish in my life. And again, just to get your creative juices flowing on where do I want to be and what will be on my list. And with regard to teams, it's really the same approach as for individuals. Be very specific about defining what success will look like. At the end of the year, our team will have been successful if we get an average customer service rating of 9 on all of the survey criteria. We will have been successful if. My engineering company, before I sold it, we used the Net Promoter Score, which a lot of large companies use. And my team would have been successful if we increased our Net Promoter Score by 2 points over the course of a year or to a predefined level. And really note the framework of my answers. This is really one of those huge takeaways in this workshop. We will have been successful when. I think that type of statement really, when it's articulated, really tells the story about where you're wanting to go, that you've emphasized success. And while each person, each team may have a different definition of success, that's all right. The most important thing is that we define that success. So still on clarifying our priorities, in the end, what will I regret not doing or accomplishing? One of the things on my bucket list, my personal bucket list, is to build a sailboat. I love woodworking and sailing, and I think building a boat would be one of the coolest things in the world. It may end up being a model boat, but that's okay. It'll still be really, really cool. On my wife's bucket list, for example, is for us to be financially secure enough to treat our kids and grandkids to a blowout vacation at Disney World. We were talking about this with our son the other day, and I've got a 3-year-old granddaughter, and I think we're going to be able to make this happen. But it was because we defined this what was success for us. And so what will matter to the most to me or my team? This is where including the team is vitally important. And this really doesn't matter whether you have a team of 3, a team of 15, or a team of 50. It's really important to include the team. You know, it's sometimes hard for us as managers to understand what will matter to the team. Personally, I've tried and failed several times. Apparently, I've been told I can't read minds. One of the simplest things that I've noticed in construction and in manufacturing is the sign, and you guys have all seen this: no lost days due to a work-related injury. You know, personally, I really never thought that would be a huge motivator. But as I talk with safety engineers in manufacturing plants, they say it's critical for them to have that sign there, that it truly is a motivator. And so having that, defining what that looks like, defining what our priority is, and then having it in a written form, articulated and shared with the entire team, really does make a difference. Some teams want to be recognized as the best quality installation, best customer service rating, best productivity. A team I'm currently worked with valued the end of the year celebration and picnic that included their families. That was one of the most important things for their team. And so it may be different for your team. And so you just kind of identify what that looks like for you. So a real quick summary on clarifying your priorities and casting a vision. And here's the questions I just went through, and we'll just zip through them, review them one more time. Where am I now? Where is my team now? Where do I want to be? Where do I want my team to be? What will I regret not doing? And what will matter most to me or my team? And this is a great time of the year to be talking about that as we get ready to roll into 2021 and we're setting those goals for 2021. I think this is probably a great opportunity to inject what I think are some astounding statistics about goals. While many of us go through the goal setting process, only 5% of us have written down our goals. I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged. And be honest, how many of you have written down your New Year's resolutions in the past? The second statistic, which I think is really astonishing, is we're 40%, 42% more likely to achieve our goals if they're written. Wow, 42%. This is a tremendous testimony to writing down your goals. I encourage you, personally, use a journal or a dedicated notepad to write these things down as you go through the process. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in our workshop tomorrow. But the power of writing things down. Wow, I just had a little catastrophe here in my office. But the physical act of writing engages the brain at a different level. And again, for teams, engage as many team members as possible in the process to improve ownership and accountability. And again, this idea that I will be successful if I write down my goals. I will be successful if I write down my goals. And it's not coincidental that the background on this slide is dollars. It works every time on this. So some bonus prompts that I use that have proven to be very powerful also in helping teams in clarifying their priorities. What did we accomplish in 2020? I think it's a great time to do a look back and celebrate the successes. What did we accomplish in 2020? My client that I was talking about earlier that is poised to have 50% growth this year. They have a team meeting scheduled for Friday, and the primary agenda item is to look back on their accomplishments in 2020 because it has been incredible. From those accomplishments, what did we learn? What did we learn, good and bad? How do we limit ourselves? This is really a big one. I think that many of us limit ourselves severely. We work within our comfort zones. We're really uncomfortable getting outside of those comfort zones. And so as we take this look back, as how are we limiting ourselves and how can we get past that? And the fifth question there, bonus question, is what areas of my life am I not accomplishing what I want? And then the last bonus question is, what would I like to accomplish just because it seems fun or inspiring? Work is hard. Work is really hard. And I want to make sure I have fun. I missed that way too many years of my working career. And as I moved into this second career, this is a real priority for me. I want to have fun. I love what I do. I enjoy working with companies, with leaders on helping them grow their businesses, helping them to grow their lives. And we focus a lot on having fun. I want to have a lot of joy in my life. The book, Finding Your Why by Simon Sinek, is really one of my favorite books. And he encourages you to go through this exercise of self-discovery. Evaluate some of the stories in your life, that look back, maybe big, maybe little, but those stories that are the most memorable. And as you reflect on those stories, consider the common denominators. What did you learn from this experience? In what ways did this experience define who you are today? I discovered, for me, after having been in business for nearly 30 years, that my real why was helping people. And making a jump from engineering consulting to business coaching didn't change my why at all. My desire, my passion in life is helping people. As I was reading through some of the notes for this workshop, I started to think, you know, I'm going to be talking with a lot of guys that are in the construction industry here. You know, some of this is really pretty touchy-feely stuff, stuff that many of us, you know, especially guys, especially, you know, engineers like myself or in the construction industry, you know, we don't generally talk about these things. And I get that, I understand it. But with that being the case, why am I talking about it? Why? Because this level of touchy-feely self-reflection stuff works. Leaders and managers who understand these soft skills are happier, more effective, more productive, and their teams are more successful. So I continue on. One of the things that we overlook in developing personal and team goals is making sure that we connect those goals to something that's bigger than words, bigger than the goal. And that's why it's important that these goals address our why. Many of you have heard about SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable or actionable, relevant, and time-bound. And I advocate adding another S to SMART goals: the story. I think that this is something that is missing in most discussions about goal setting. I would be surprised if any of you have ever participated in a goal setting discussion that included a discussion about the story. The story is what makes your goals relevant. The idea of taking my family, my kids and my grandkids on a blowout vacation in Disney World, that story makes my financial goal relevant. Think about those resolutions or team goals that you may have had in the past. How many of them have had a story attached to them? Something that you could engage with at the heart level. How much more powerful is a goal that has an emotional impact? I remember my grandfather at my youngest cousin's high school graduation. He was a very stoic man, somewhat typical of that generation. But I witnessed tears in his eyes that day. There were tears of joy. He was very proud of the legacy that his family was creating. And this resonates with me as I think about my granddaughter. I want to be there for her high school graduation and beyond. My walk every morning takes on greater significance, and it's way easier to get out of bed and get those steps in with this story in my heart. I want to be there. The story matters. Trying to succeed in life without being inspired is like trying to drive a car without fuel. It doesn't matter how powerful your engine is. If there's no gas in the tank, you're not going anywhere. Compelling goals are spiritually meaningful, connected to something bigger. Compelling goals are intellectually stimulating. They make you think. It's really important that they be emotionally energizing, that they get you or your team excited. Man, I just can't imagine a team that wouldn't be excited about you know, doing a 15, 20, 25% growth year over year, and everything that brings with it. And sometimes, for some of us, goals need to be physically challenging. Certainly when we talk about those fitness goals. Most importantly, though, the story matters. Remember the statistics. You're 42% more likely to reach a goal that has been written. When I meet with people that have written goals, I immediately see someone that is moving past interested and barreling way toward committed. Just like the story, it is proven that if you can visualize your destination, you're more likely to achieve your goals. Brendan Bouchard, author of High Performance Habits, which I can't say enough good things about that book. High Performance Habits is a great personal development book. But Brendan says, people who visualize and describe their goals are more successful. Zig Ziglar said, if you want to reach a goal, you must see the reaching. You must see the reaching in your own mind before you actually arrive at the goal. In your imagination, see yourself, visualize yourself getting that job or promotion. See your team or visualize your team reaching the customer service goal that they have set. I don't know what reward processes that you guys have through ABC Seamless Corporate for your franchisees, but I'm sure that you have them. And I would encourage, the franchisees out there and business owners, set a goal to achieve one of those awards this next year, and include your team on that, and make sure that they're all brought on board. Another way that another powerful tool that I love in goal setting, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to mention it, and that's vision boards. And again, I've already told you guys, my background is in engineering. I'm a pretty type A personality. And the first time my coach said, hey, we're going to do a vision board, I said, you got to be crazy. This is the silliest thing in the world. I'll go through the motions, but I'm just not going to do it. But reluctantly, I was paying big bucks for this coaching, so reluctantly I did. I created a vision board for our company, for our engineering company. And I ran across it when I was cleaning out my office. And I took a look at it, and I was amazed at how many things we had accomplished on the vision board, even though it was just for me. It wasn't a full team effort. And with the vision board hidden behind my credenza. Just the physical act of creating the vision board engaged my brain at a higher and deeper level. And I'm convinced in retrospect that I made different decisions moving forward with our company based on that exercise. I have to wonder how effective we would have been if I would have posted that vision board front and center in our team conference room. I really wish I would have. I think it would have made me a whole lot more money when I sold my company. So for the leaders out there and on the call, I encourage you first, develop a vision board for yourself. And then consider setting aside a few hours for your team to develop a vision board for the team as well. Tomorrow in our workshop, we're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite tools, whiteboards. It's a great place to develop a vision board. I guarantee that it'll change your success rate and make you more profitable as a company. So written goals, as I've shared, many of us are familiar with the SMART acronym. Again, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. And of course, we added the story. And it goes without saying, it needs to be written. So let's do an example real quick. And let's see. Yeah, I do have slides on that. I couldn't remember whether I had a slide or not. So I want to lose weight. In the SMART goals acronyms, that's not very specific. I want to lose weight by the end of 2021. So now I've put a time element to it. So we're getting a lot better there. I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of 2021. We've gotten a whole lot more specific on what our goal is there. Although I can cheat a little bit on this because it really depends. When I get to the end of 2021, am I going to remember what my starting weight was? And I would probably cheat on it. And if you guys will admit to it, I bet you would too. I want to reach a target weight of 175 pounds by the end of 2021. Now we're really getting targeted. And this is starting to meet the definition of a SMART goal. I made a little tweak to this, though, that I think is really important. Instead of I want to, I will. I'm going to be very proactive in this, and I'm going to say that I definitely will reach a target weight of 175 pounds by the end of 2021. I'm positive that I'm going to take the actions and develop the habits necessary to accomplish this goal. But what if we added a value statement, the why? I want to lose weight, but I'm going to expand this goal to be to increase my physical health. This is that value statement. I will reach a target weight of 175 pounds by the end of 2021. So the goal specific, it's measurable, it's actionable, it's realistic, it's time bound. And if I asked you about your story, your why, it's included there. I encourage you, I mentioned the book, Finding Your Why by Simon Sinek. I would find it to be really, I found it to be really worthwhile and would encourage you, to pick that up. So in my industry, as a coach, I spend a fair amount of time doing seminars and webinars on goal setting. And what I found is one of the common misconceptions about goals is we set them, but we don't make them big enough. They have to be big enough. In a goal setting session I participated in with Michael Hyatt, he suggested that way too many of our goals are in our comfort zones. We're sandbagging. They're way too easy to achieve. Occasionally, we'll find people that just get crazy with this whole goal setting thing, especially when they're first starting with it, and they set goals that, as Michael would call it, is they fall in the delusional zone. This is so crazy, it's just not going to happen at all. He suggests that we aim for goals that are in our discomfort zone. We know that we can only grow if we're stretching, but we do have to be realistic. And we do know that people who set difficult and specific goals outperform people who just set vague and non-challenging goals. And so, if you guys are still engaged in the chat, want to be, I'd love to hear, what's an example of a team goal that maybe you guys achieved in 2020 that you're really proud of? Or maybe you started looking at your goals for 2021, and what's one of those team goals that you're looking for in 2021? So, again, if you'd like, pop that in the chat or not, that's fine. I've mentioned customer service was one of those goals. It may be a productivity goal. It may be a revenue goal. Revenue goals are a really great one to start with. Because they can be very specific, they're very measurable, they're easy to understand. I like simple. Simple is really important, and so I make sure that we keep things really simple. So I wanted to go through an example of a team goal as well. And this was one of the team goals that we had as an engineering company. We had about 40 people on our team. Serving, clients all across the country. Client service was huge for us. And so we wanted to provide better client service, but that wasn't very specific. Boy, I just jumped right to the end. But we want to provide better client service, to our internal clients, to our external clients. We want to increase our client service rating. And we jumped right to the end there. We will increase our client service rating to our internal clients to an average rating of 9 by the end of 2021. And this is a real life example. We use this in our engineering company, and because we wanted to make sure we provided better service to our internal clients. We had, offices in various places, and it was really important that they communicate with each other. And so serving each other was really important for us. In what we did there. And then we added a little bit there because I wanted to make sure that it included the story. And the story for us is we wanted to increase the reputation and professionalism in our office. I wanted our office out in the Phoenix area to think of our Columbia office as the model of professionalism. And that doesn't just happen by accident. The culture of professionalism, a culture of kindness, a culture of better client service, it doesn't happen by accident. It's stuff that you have to work on. And so client service is really a great goal. It's just really important that you find a way to measure it, whether that be through client surveys or, what we used was the Net Promoter Score. Whatever you use, I think that's a great one. And again, goals don't have to be huge, but they have to be big enough. The most important thing about goals is that they're yours. They have to be tied to, your core values, your mission, your vision, not only from corporate, but right down at your franchise level. What do those core values look at your franchise there in Nebraska or Minnesota or Michigan? I recommend to most of my clients that they set 7 to 10 goals per year with a specific focus on 2 to 3 each quarter. And absolutely imperative, the goals have to be written. So we've talked about clarifying your priorities and casting a vision by using the life wheel or for your teams, the SWOT analysis. And again, those resources are going to be available on the website landing page that I'm going to provide to you later. We've talked about a process of developing written goals using the SMART goal strategy with this added emphasis on consideration of the story and your why. The third step is executing a strategy to accomplish goals. Goals give you a starting point and a destination. They give you that big vision. Achieving goals, however, accomplishing goals requires that we break things down into actionable steps. And this is where the rubber hits the road. And this, honestly, is where most of us fail. We don't fail because we can't do the actions. We fail because we don't even define the actions necessary, and we just wing it throughout the year. If we have written down our goals, we may not even go back and look at them. I stress that we have a process for reviewing goals on a regular basis throughout the year. And this isn't just with the leadership team, but also with your teams. And again, that's going to be different and with each of your teams. Indecision and the resulting inactions are really the greatest theft of opportunity to succeed. This process of developing a strategy for execution is simple and removes that indecision. And successful execution of strategy is based on, excuse me, being very specific, being laser focused, assigning ownership, and creating ongoing accountability. It's the same for individuals and teams. Certainly for individuals, you own that goal. I advise most people get a mentor, a coach, or a good friend that will help you with accountability, that will hold your feet to the fire. With teams, it's really about having the goal in front of you all the time. I talked about that vision board. I wish I would have posted that in front of, right there in our team meeting room. It's about having that in front of us all the time. And with team goals, ownership and accountability is critical. And when we look at the execution phase of it, as we begin to identify specific tasks to reach that end of the year goal, is somebody has to own each of those tasks. And it doesn't have to be the leader, doesn't have to be the team leader. There are people on your teams that should own and be engaged with those tasks as well. And then have a process of accountability where you're checking in on these goals and this strategy. And so we look at the goals that we set in the second section of this workshop as really that big vision, those big picture, probably those annual type goals. And then we break this down into an execution strategy that looks like at monthly or quarterly. And so that we can tackle these in more bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to give you an example, and this is a real example. It's about me. I'm going to throw myself under the bus here just a little bit. And this goes back about 10, 11 years. In the fall of 2009, I was sitting in a sales training class. And this was an ongoing class, and we met every week. And this week's topic was goals and goal setting. And you could tell the body language in the room, the people in the room, we just were not really excited about this. We really were concerned it was going to be another lecture on the importance of goal setting. And little did we know, the trainer had something different in mind for us. You know, and I've known her for years, but she was really tired of talking about goals, and she was ready for us to take some action. And so each of us teamed up with an accountability partner, and our task was to write our goal and develop a strategy to achieve the goal. So my goal in the fall of 2009 was to run a 5K before my 50th birthday in the summer of 2010. I have absolutely no idea where that goal came from. I was interested in improving my health, but I had very limited interest in running. I think, you know, running 5Ks in 2009 was becoming very in vogue, and it seemed like the thing to do. And so the goal statement was pretty good. It fit all the criteria of a SMART goal. Having never run a 5K, I really questioned whether it was realistic. The goal was definitely in my discomfort zone. But historically, this is where we would have stopped. The goal was set, but our trainer was way ahead of us on this. She knew that this is where the goal would end. And so she encouraged us to develop this strategy for success, an actionable plan. And some of you may laugh, and that's way okay. You can even unmute yourself and laugh at me. It won't bother me at all. But my actionable plan started with buying running shoes. I had just set a goal to run a 5K, and I didn't have running shoes. I had to start at the very beginning. And my running goals, equally unimpressive. Identifying the first mailbox in my subdivision and run to it, and then walk, and then identify the next mailbox and run to it. My action plan was a series of baby steps. My accountability partner checked in with me every week to see where I was. I ran with some walking that 5K in the spring of 2010 before my 50th birthday. I upped the game in the fall of 2010 with a goal to actually run the whole distance, and I succeeded. And what was really cool about it is my accountability partner was right there next to me the entire run. We developed specific action steps. We defined ownership of those steps. And in this case, I mostly owned them all, although my accountability partner was definitely a key player in making sure I stayed on task. No one succeeds alone. An accountability, a partner, a coach, or a mentor is really critical. Without this step-by-step plan and accountability, I'm 100% certain that I would not have been able to reach that goal, but I did. We go through the same process to accomplish team goals. We clarify our priorities and cast a vision. For individuals, we use the life wheel. For the teams, again, you'll probably use the SWOT analysis. That would be my recommendation if I was working with you. We write down our goals, keeping in mind the SMART goals criteria, and we remember the story. We know how important that is. We develop an executable plan that include specific actionable steps. We assign ownerships for each of those steps and who's accountable for each of those steps. And we outline a system and schedule for accountability so that the goals that we do not set, so that the goals we set don't fall off the radar. So I am really bumping right up against the time here. It's my hope that you guys were able to jot down at least one takeaway that you can implement in the next several weeks to become more committed and successful in your goal setting process. This would be a great time if anybody's got any questions, unmute yourself, jump on there, put some things in the chat if you'd like. Scott, if there's anything you saw as we were going through this, would love to see that. As you guys are doing that, perhaps your takeaway was the importance of having goals written and prominently displayed. Excuse me. Perhaps it was that your team goals should be posted in your conference room or warehouse. Perhaps it was that last slide about the execution step. Whatever it was, whatever your takeaway was.
I'll go first because I don't mind talking, I guess. Here's the thing. You had a lot of good points in there. And the big thing is understanding that each person, as far as what I got from it, each person is not the team themselves. So overall, you have to come to certain goals for your team and individually, which is very hard to do a lot of the time because, like you said, if you don't write down your goals, you have goals in your mind, but you don't write them down. What'd you say? 42% of those are even achieved if you don't write them down. I mean, if you write them down, 42% more.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
The whole SWOT and analyzing your teams and your own self, and then also making sure that you have people accountable for what they're supposed to be doing in the workplace, for your sales team, for your marketing team, for your office professionals. Everybody just has to understand the vision of the company. I think that's kind of what your vision is too, is making sure everybody knows why they're doing certain things so they know the value behind it.
You're dead on, Scott. I think that as leaders, a lot of times we get this misconception that it's all about us, and that we have to do everything. And our teams, we hire smart people, or we try to hire smart people, and they have a lot that they can add to the conversation. I do another workshop and work with my clients on meeting agendas. Something as simple as a meeting agenda can provide the highest degree of accountability in this goal setting process. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Someone, they didn't put it in the chat box, but they texted me. They're wondering if you would make available some of the resources that you showed on this video, such as the SWOT analysis, and then some of the other links maybe that you get your information from.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the slide, the slides that's up on the screen right now, I've got a web address with a landing page. And I set this landing page up specifically for you guys for this workshop. And it's got a lot of additional information that I covered in the presentation, as well as you can request, the templates for the SWOT analysis and goal accomplishing and the life wheel. And I'd love to, if you have any questions, there's a place to reach out and ask me questions as well. I'd love to help you out.
That sounds great. It sounds very good. Would you mind sharing that via my email, and I'll make sure that everybody gets it out, the link out to them anyway. And then
I'll do it, Scott.
Is this something that you may do one-on-ones as well? Is that something you do?
I do. I'd be glad to do a one-on-one, just an intro session with anyone. And so, yeah, just reach out to me again through my website is probably the best way. And reach out to me. I love to talk business with folks, and we can talk about what's going on in your world, and see if it makes sense to continue a coaching relationship. I'd love that as well, but But I'd be glad to meet with anybody one-on-one just for an introductory session.
That sounds great. We're getting a lot of good comments in via texting my phone and throwing in the chat there. A lot of great information. Sounds like a lot of work. Yep, that's a great comment, Bill. Bill out of Siren, Wisconsin, I think. And it's just kind of take yourself back a step, I guess. That's the next steps in your name. But once in a while, you got to take a couple steps back before you go forward, right?
Absolutely. And don't make it more complicated than it is. I think that I mean, again, my background, my personality as an engineer, I like to keep things complicated, but I found over the years that the simpler I made it, boy, the easier my life was.
Hey, Tom, Chris Catarzi here in Fargo. Wonderful job. Very, very instructive. If you could, for us, just kind of give a real quick 30 seconds blurb of what you're going to go over tomorrow. Just kind of a quick commercial, kind of hyping what we're going to do tomorrow as well. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to focus on some productivity tools that I use. And it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be a list of, the apps I use or anything like that. It's going to be really those things that are part of my trusted system, and that what I've used to make my life easier and be more effective, more efficient, and hopefully more successful and more profitable. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that tomorrow. It's a little bit shorter presentation, so there will be a lot of opportunity for engagement there as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sounds great. Any
Scott,
last? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. If you've got just another minute or two, I'd love to just share a real quick story with you.
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
That I think really resonates. And so I have a really good friend at Coyote Hill, which is a rural foster care community in our county. And Larry is a longtime friend of mine. He's a little bit older. He's a bit sedentary. And as a result, he has kind of a weight problem. I mean, and I can say that because he called me for help with this. And so I hooked him up with a nutritional coach. But eating right and physical fitness routine wasn't the strategy for him. And it didn't fit with his whole goal of getting healthier. But I figured out, because I've known him for a long time, that he's dedicated his life to building this foster care community. And because of his age, he's really the grandpa around the place now. And so I made a suggestion to him. This is how you kind of begin to look at the story behind your goals. And I suggested that he invite the kids who just love him, and he loves them, but invite the kids to a daily walk with Larry. They love to spend time with him and absorb the wisdom that he imparts. And the bonus is he gets his exercise steps in every day. He loved it. He does it. He's been losing weight. Working with a nutritional coach didn't work for him, but doing what he loved and just repurposing it and understanding what was important to him and matching that with his goals was a win-win. So when you understand your why and you match it with those goals, it's a win-win for everybody. And so this was a great way for him to become very committed, to getting healthier and having joy in his life at the same time. And I always love sharing that story because I think it's so important that we do enjoy life. And thank you guys for allowing me to speak with you today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow. And if anybody has any questions, just reach out to me on my website, and I will send that link to you, Scott, by email when we hang up here.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you, Tom. You're right on the 11 o'clock schedule here. It looks like we got Jeff already on here, ready to rock. Tom, I'm going to take your screen off now.
Cool.
Throw Jeff up there. Tom, you're more than welcome to sit through this stuff too, because maybe Mr. Jeff could help you out with some of your stuff too if you want to chat with him after.
Yeah,
so
love to.
We've got Jeff here. I always called him John Lennon from the Beatles because kept forgetting, but he's out of California. Randy Trefair and Chuck Hall out of Cheyenne were the first ones to kind of speak with you about what your positives and getting your all the information set up in a great format, a great digital format. And we got to thank those guys, of course, because they brought that over to us. Grant Barnum, thanks, buddy. You really helped me along the process with this. We worked quite heavily
Thanks,
on
Grant.
here. We added about 100, maybe 120 slides to it, videos and whatnot. And I'm gonna stop talking now. And Creative Mind Concepts, is that correct?
That's correct.
And
Yep.
you are out
We're
of
good to go.
California. And how is that going? Looks like you got a great mic set up with all the stuff going on in your world.
Yeah. I'm out of my home office today, everyone. So if you see everything, a lot of COVID restrictions out here. So that's what we got going. A couple things before we get going. Thanks again to Randy for introducing me to you guys out of Cheyenne there. And there's some other guys in there. I can see Troy's in there from Asher. Hi, Troy. And some others, customers we know. Grant. Hi, Grant. And Scott, thank you very much for your intro. And Tom, so you know, look at Tom Trabue. There's my goal. To help each one of you sell more product, okay? So I'm already listening, all right, my friend?
Awesome. I love it, Jeff.
There you go. All right, guys, what we do is we build presentations. So we're the #1 presentation agency in this nation for everyone, for all the home improvement industry. We have a whole bunch of guys at the top that we're also doing along with ABC Seamless, as long as with ABC Seamless Corporate as well. We've done corporate, Bismarck, Asher I saw is in there. We've done Cheyenne. So some of the others. So what I'm here today is, I'm not a motivational speaker, so it's tough to follow Tom, but I will come on in and go through some of the presentation here and show you what we've made for them and what we've done. So before we get started, I'm going to share my screen and let me set that up real quick. And hold on, share screen. I should be able to do screen. Hold on. 4. There we go. Screen 4. And excuse me if I'm looking all over the place. I got a lot of screens here and I got to set up the share computer sound as well. There we go. Okay. The first thing you're going to see here. So again, we build the presentations for this industry. We're going to help you sell more product. We built this for ABC Seamless with the help of a lot of people, but Scott and Grant near the end there and getting this exactly right for you. So we can roll this out to all of you there. Okay. So this is a toolbox that the presentation typically sits in. I'm going to get right to the presentation in a second. But before we get started, I just want to, you would go here for your presentation and your presentation would be there and you click on it and it'd be all good to go. And I'll back out of that right now and say no right there and you'd be good to go. But I'll back out of that for a second there and go back here and hold on, go back into there. And I'm going to show you something here that I'm just going to do real quick. At any time when you have your users out in the field, one of the things this has set up is you can track this presentation live while it's out in the field or they're operating from virtual. We do both the virtual and in-home presentations, but you can track this anywhere your sales reps go. So as an example, I'll just show you one tracking feature before I even show you the presentation. And Scott, do you mind if I use yours there? Are you okay, buddy, from yesterday? You care?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, buddy. So I'll click on Scott right there. I'll just go on down and look at I can see training history. I can see when he logged in. I can see he changed passwords. So I'll go to presentation history and let's just pick yesterday right there. And I hope you did a bunch yesterday. Let's see. There you go. Perfect. So you can see right here the tracking from Scott. He went through these different slides here, when he went through those different slides, etc. And again, not everyone, only your company will be able to see your company's tracking for your reps. But this is a good way to manage your sales reps, etc. Inside the presentation when they're going through things at home. So let's say for purpose of conversation, Scott was selling really good this week or last few months, but he started to go off the reservation a bit. And he didn't keep selling as well. You can go back and find out what he was doing before. And why all of a sudden he's starting to fall off a bit. Like he was showing some really neat slides. He went through the proper presentation. He showed all the value added things you wanted, but all of a sudden he started missing some. It's typically in sales, I think you guys already know this. I know you already know this, is where they start skipping steps. And you can go back in here and see if they skip some of the most vital steps for your product and showing that, and not showing the company the value added stuff. So this is where you can go back. You can bring Scott back and say, hey, I saw on this day, pick any day and time that you sold a lot of product and everything was growing great. I saw these days afterwards, it wasn't so great. So we're going to see if you missed some stuff, and we found out you did. Hey, what if you keep showing these slides? I think that'll help you. It's also great to bring your other sales reps. As you have a bunch of reps in here, you would have a whole list of a whole bunch there. But as you have a bunch of sales reps in there, when you have them in there for your team, you can go back and pick any one of them and go back at any date and time and check on them. So that's just an added feature to what we offer. And I'll get into the presentation now. I just want to make sure you knew that that was available on every one of these. So let's go. At the top here, you can get rid of some of this that shows at the top, right at the very up here, right there, that 1 inch at the top there. I'm going to click out of that so we can show the presentation. Before we get started, I'm just going to click on something here just to show you. This is a presentation for you guys today, but we just put this together real quick. Out of the big 50 remodeling, if you know of that list, the top companies in the nation, all over about 100 mil a year or something like that. These customers right here, 5 out of the top 9 are our customers already doing business with us. At the end of this, if you want to see a testimonial from any of them, I have Windows USA CEO coming on, giving us a testimonial, some others. But these are the customers right there we already do business with. If you looked at that same thing and took the qualified remodeler list and said, what's half of the top 30 right there? Half of those guys are our accounts. Here you guys are here, ABC Corporate as well. These are all our customers as well. So you can see them in. And I might have some from, if you want to see a window company later in the day, we can show that as well. And certainly you can let me know on chat or something like that, or Scott, you can tell me in the chat when they do that. So I'm going to continue on your presentation here. Keep in mind, you always have an outline to the right there. And if you ever want to put notes in there for your team to talk about certain things, for instance, when you get on this slide, I want you to talk about this during training. You can always have your notes right there, and et cetera. So let's start. I'm going to take you. Oh, and the other part is I'm going to keep in mind that this presentation I'm showing you today is giving me an hour of time. I'm already at 9:11 here, or 11:11 your time, I guess. I'm going to use that, showing you some parts of the presentation and leave some time at the end. But what I want to do is really take you through all the pieces. You're not going to have to spend this amount of time with your customers out there because you're just going to get to the sections of the stuff. Let's say you go out on roofing. You're just going to show them the roofing part, I imagine. But I'm going to go through the entire presentation to show you everything as well, so you can see all the added features and the benefits it's going to offer you when you're out there in the field. And again, it's as a substitute for your sales guys to use as they go along. They're still going to have to sell. Click there to start. So it comes on in. It's the ABC Seamless guy. It's going to set up for right here. It's going to talk about, the interest in, thank you for your interest in ABC, letting them know how big of a company that your franchise is with. Going through, and again, it's going to also have your personal stuff in there as we go. So it's going to walk on through there. It's going to drop down. I'm not touching anything. It's going to go automatically to the menu. At this point, you're going to have the menu that's right here to go. And from that, you're going to go into, your home, industry concerns. You kind of want to paint the pain out there, because when you get to this section right here, it's going to be the solution for all of this. And then again, siding, windows, gutters, soffit and fascia roofing. So some of you out there might be saying, well, I have other products. That's fine. We have something at the very end of this we'll send you that lets you work with that we work with all these products. We're actually experts in all of them. As you saw in Windows alone, I think we have, of the top ones out there in the nation, I think we have almost all, or maybe missing 1 or 2. Anyways, so we can, any other products you might have, we're good to go on that as well. Insulation, you can start naming it, attic insulation, anything. We've done it all. Okay, so let's start with this one. Start with this, with ABC Seamless, your home. So that's where we're going to talk about your home. I did that. I apologize about that. I'll go back. That was me. Go into your home, where it's going to come into the video there, and it's going to show a video. Again, this video is going to be edited towards your location, because you'll see in a second here,
keeping you warm and safe,
where it has a sign and it basically says a phone number on it for corporate. We fix all that when we get to your location.
You trust your home to protect you,
You'll
and you
see it
trust
right now.
ABC
There you go.
Seamless to protect
So,
it. We've
again, with
stood
this
behind our
particular-
work since 1978 because
This
we live here
particular
too,
opening is
and
going
there's
to
no
talk about
place
how
we'd
big
rather call
ABC Seamless is.
home.
I'm sure you've all seen this, etc. It's going to go right into ABC Investment and Beauty, and then I click right here. Click anywhere inside here to go to the next slide. Keep in mind, whenever you are in these slides, you can always click on your logo here to go back to that main menu. So getting industry concerns. So again, you're going to let the people know that your home right there is your largest and most valuable investment. You're going to walk them through, be extremely careful when hiring a contractor or remodeler. We're going to walk them through why that is. Let's do it now. Why select an industry leader? We talk about the Better Business Bureau, #1 industry for complaints, home improvement industry with 10.7 million complaints. We get into that. We talk about the Small Business Administration reports going out there for the same companies, year 1, year 5, those are companies going out of business. This is why you look for dealing business with industry leaders. You're going to get into industry concerns. Over 350 billion out there was spent on home improvement. And it talks about the new projects and how much was spent correcting the bad projects. It's again why they want to do business with you, because I'm gonna segue this next section into your company and why you. And so it gets in, it answers those questions right there. A reliable contractor can eliminate these headaches. This is here for your guys to use, the sales guys. This is for them to be smart on and basically say, hey, did you ever have someone come out to your house and maybe not clean up as well or have some unfinished details? Did you lose a lot of time trying to contact them and things like that? So that gets your guys to talk. These are also for them. Okay. It talks about all homeowners must avoid the 2 most worst things a homeowner can do. You're trying to get them to do business with something. Doing nothing's not an option anymore. By the time you finish this, doing business with the wrong company isn't either. It gets into how to choose a home improvement specialist. It walks through some of the things you might need. Again, you're going to solve these solutions as we go through here. It then gets into the insurance part. You know, if someone falls off your roof, folks, you're legally responsible if something goes wrong. You know, homeowner insurance doesn't cover that. You know, other companies, you're not quite sure what they might have. With us, we're licensed, insured. We have workers' comp, factory certified. We've got 1 million general liability to 2 million aggregate, 500,000 auto, and we even have an umbrella policy for some of you that do out there, and a workers' comp. So whatever your insurance certificate shows on all these are every one of these presentations. This whole thing you're seeing through here, this whole beginning section is going to be customized to your particular company. It's going to be your company story. It's going to be about what makes you great. So we're going to find out all that. Getting into writing here, when making important decisions, does it make sense to, to consider these items here? Excuse me if I take drink breaks here, guys, once in a while. It's a lot of talking. I have quality, payback period, the company, peace of mind. And so it walks into, do you have confidence in their ability to serve you? And is there, backing behind it? So in this particular one, now we're going to be getting directly into the company story of ABC Seamless of Fargo. Okay. It kind of has the corporate feel too as well, but yours is going to be ABC Seamless of like Cheyenne, or ABC, which we'd already done, but ABC Seamless of some of the other location. Or I saw Troy's out there with Asher. So it's Asher Lasting right there, exteriors. So it'll be something like that. And it'll be your full story there. 42 years in business, however long you've been in business.
Can you blame them?
So again,
the rubberneckers.
This can be video.
After
I don't know if all of you
those
saw this video. If
eye-catching
you have, I can
updates
move
were
past
your
it.
idea, and the experienced crew
And again,
from
we fixed
ABC
this slide, so it
Seamless
doesn't
did
have
the
that phone number on
rest.
it.
Your roof went from neglected to protected. Your siding went from squalid to solid. And your curb appeal went from drab to fab. Teaming up with ABC gave you the best-looking house on the block. So keep turning heads, homeowner. Just don't let it go to yours.
All right, so that goes in there. It kind of segues right into this again. It talks about the location as one of a national brand. Anyways, we'll show your location wherever you're at this. We'll put that in. We'll speak to your location, of course. Yours will be a little different there. ABC Seamless installed durable and beautiful steel home products since 1978. Again, this is going to be all about yours. It might talk about corporate as well, if that helps. And then right afterwards, talk about your company. If you ever want to click on a drone view or something like that, you can click on this to show a house. They wanted something like this here just to kind of show this is kind of what we do, folks. And it goes out there. This one is not embedded, but maybe it'll show this drone view, as you can see. And I'll skip past that, but it starts to get to the home there. And that. So you can always pop out and do that. But a lot of the videos we embed, so you don't go outside of it unless we have too many, then we'll take it outside. So we'll embed your videos if you want. Again, this opened up like that. I'm just going to clean it up a bit there. Continuing on, you might talk about ABC Seamless, your company. Maybe you have the trusted products, installation expertise, lifetime warranties. You want to point out some of these key things at the beginning to keep them of interest right there. And then again, you're going to show your licenses for your location and your whole setup if you want there, or however you want to show, whatever you want to show in company story. A lot of this we look up and do for you. So if you're thinking it's a lot of work to have us do this for you, I can tell you about half of our companies out there give us a logo. They know we know this industry quite well. They give us just their logo and say, go to town. And we finish it and come in at about 95% complete. So we'll do that as well. But if you want to get involved and give us as much, we give you Dropbox to put everything in. So we make this process very, very easy. Made in America, Energy Star partner. If you happen to be on the qualified top remodeler, they happen to be on that one right there. It talks about the companies, how many were selected and the year, and it goes into that whole thing. ABC Seamless right here, maybe talk about, your reviews. Some companies have 10 reviews. Some companies have different ones. It just depends of which ones you want to show. If you went to click on that, it would take you right live to their BBB. If you went to click on that, it would take you right into the Google one. Boom, it pops right into all the reviews there as well. So I'll clean those up real quick there and there, and then get back here. You'll go into Facebook. It's the same thing. You can click here again and continue on. Maybe you want to show guild quality for those of you who have guild quality out there, and it'll go ahead and show the latest guild quality on it. If they want to go live, they can click on this icon right there and take them right to it. Maybe it's something about the very end of this section. You talked about your company. And again, I know I'm shooting through this, but you talked about your company. Maybe you want to point out all the special things that we just talked about in the company story. So on the very last page of this, or last section of this, they're reminded of all the reasons why they want to do business with you. So then if you're not afraid to ask a question, if you don't want this in, you don't have to, but if the products we offer match your needs, which you feel comfortable doing business with our company. I do my job right, they're going to feel comfortable doing business with your company, because we're going to make sure we show all that and why they should do business with your company. So at this point, you can return to the main menu. You can continue right on through. I'll return to the main menu just like that there. And we can go into any one of these we want to at the time. I'll go into siding at this time right here. And it looks through siding, and you can say, why new siding? You got cost versus value, intro. Again, for the speed of being in a home, I built, just to give you an idea, we had two previous companies, event/presentation agencies, that we built before we started this business. Multi-million-dollar companies doing over 200 events and presentation things a week. Huge companies. We took that, and that's, my kids are running that. And now what we do is fully focus on home improvement industry presentations. In that, we learned from building that whole thing that I had to go out into the field like you guys do. Your sales guys go out in the field and see what actually goes on. I spent a year out in the field learning all these processes and stuff as part of building this business. So I knew what it was like to be in the home. And that's going to get me into answering the question why I brought that up is you have to have your sales guys be able to access anything they need to keep the customer moving and interested very quickly. You can get to anything in this presentation within a couple seconds if you want to. Basically start from scratch and then hit any of the tabs and get right into it. So for now, I'm going to continue on. But why new siding? You can go right there and why new siding. Maybe it's going to talk about the reasons people get into siding, and they're interested in it. And again, if you have other reasons, we can put that in as well. You get into basically how much is it costs to maintain your home. Every single time out there, you get a 3-year paint job, one of those simple ones a handyman does, you're gonna have to paint your house and paint it again. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you paint your house again, 20 years. You want to paint the paint on this slide to the folks because you want to see, I got to paint it again. And that's the true cost of what it's going to cost to keep repainting your house right there. So you want to get them out of it, of course, to be in the siding, and then bring in some other things for why siding may make sense. Again, point out some of the issues, some of the things like that. Maybe they're having some problems with termites. Get into other issues that might be there or problems they might have in their home. Again, you got a siding one time forever fix. It talks about all those, never paint again, no fading. You can see all the information there. What's in it for you? Freedom from expensive and time consuming maintenance repairs. And then it goes through all those, excuse me. All right, the next one goes through siding, and it comes right back to here. So you're ready to go on cost versus value. So now you can speak to cost versus value. So it depends on if you want to show this or not. Some companies do, some don't. You can pick any one of these you want to go. So if you're trying to compare against a vinyl, you can show what the vinyl is and the cost recoups, and it can show all the different ones. Again, fiber, stone. This is because we use them as comparisons. A siding intro right there might be this particular video right here. If you say to yourself, hey, I'm on an iPad, this all shows well, I want to blow up any presentation I want or any video, it's cool. Hit that corner right there and blow up the video if you want.
Imagine worry-free siding that looks great and protects your home for a lifetime.
And again, this shows real clear. It's real clear on my screen. I'm not sure I was showing all yours, but just so you know, when you're going to show, it's going to be real clear in your screen as well.
Learn more at abcseamless.com.
Okay, and that walks you through. You can go to the express lane flyer. You can click to that if you want to. You don't have to, and it'll click you through the flyers. If you have any flyers you want to show, you can compare in here. You can compare on the road, compare the videos. You can see the vinyl matching color video, burn test video. We all know about that video you guys show once in a while. Let's not be, this is so you're not having to pull it from several different places. It's right in one spot all at the same time. You can have right here, come on in and compare all video. It compares all the videos right there, and Shows all the products, and I'll shoot through this real quick so you can see. But basically, it comes out and speaks on all the products right there, which is really
causing
great.
vinyl to warp and even melt.
You got this.
The result?
So again,
the
you can show that.
Imagine
You can show that. You can go right into this one here.
That's 10 years old. Nearly impossible. But with ABC Seamless, we've never discontinued a style or a color. Another.
And you can get in the burn test right there. And again, you can shoot through. These videos are embedded, so you're not going outside to get them. They're right here.
Duct mat, steel siding in the center, and vinyl foam back down the right.
Get an
How
idea
long
there.
would it take for the fire department to get to your
And you guys
home
have probably
after the
seen this
initial
one before.
911
Basically, it continues on and shows why
and the ABC
ABC
seamless?
Seamless. And then again, there's another one that basically shows water going through the seams, thus being ABC Seamless with the idea. We're trying to show the seams and the problems of what might happen to their home.
Here's a seam on a vinyl
And
sided
you show another one. Again, you don't have to go to all these. These
These
are here just if you want to go to them. You can click them individually.
Each homeowner pays the bill. Wouldn't that tick you? Scrap the gaps. Go with ABC
So
Seamless.
going along there, and then again,
Some
This
homeowners
is the great
complain
one
that
with
their
the low E
neighbors'
windows.
efficient double-pane windows can act like a magnifying glass, melting their vinyl siding. From Boston,
It's buckling, it's lifting off the house, it's curling up. It's just totally ruined.
to Minnesota,
They just finished building a home and there's melted siding.
and you
And
get
the
it,
window
and it
and
walks
door-
through the whole thing. There's another one if you wanted it in any time from Angie's List saying the same thing. Angie from Angie's List talking about how the warranties are voided and stuff like that as well. Here's how well does it protect your home. This is where these guys, this is an old video, but it goes in where these guys pull these seams off, etc. And they're coming here, and I'll take you to that spot just so you know. Right there where they come and just pull it right off. Like that. It shows how easy it is to come off. So again, these are all in here. If you don't want to go to the videos, again, just so you know, I'm going to go back and show you how easy it is to get the videos. This, again, this link at the top right here would take you to the main logo, main menu, excuse me. This will take you to the sub one. So I can go right back there, look at there, go into compare, and there's the videos right there I was talking about, and pick any one you want individually. So if you want to compare against seams, no seams, images, pull off video, there's a hail damaged ones. We can see images right there. You could talk about ugly seams versus no seams. You could compare James Hardy. If you're up against James Hardy, you can compare James Hardy right there. You don't have to go to show this one if you don't want to, but you can show some of the issues, some of the other issues on it. You can compare again LP Smart Side. You can sit there and show some of the comparisons and what their warranties don't show. You can get in and show some of the reviews and how there's mold on this one right there, how that happened. You can show how these are pulling apart again, if you'd like that. And this is again trying to sell against those other products should they've already met with those people, and now you're trying to compete against that. And again, images there, and go through. Here's a lawsuit against Plygem, going through the whole thing. It's a class action suit. Again, show these right there. Show the issues. Go through their homes. You can see, you can get the idea. And at the end, you have the dare to compare there. Go along with that. You can speak to the benefits right here. Let's look at 5 benefits of stainless steel siding. It goes to leak resistance, reduce energy bill year round. And again, you know, you have the text in here to read as well if you want to, or if you want to explain, or your homeowners can do that as well. And then again, it gets into siding layers. It gets into different layers. Should you want to go there, you don't have to go to all these. But here's a 25-year-ago home. It's a great one to show them what it looks like. The colors are still great. Everything's still great.
No other siding company can match that claim.
You get it.
Grow with ABC.
So it goes like that. Then you might get in the siding gallery. How I got there again, real quick. I was here and I go to the gallery. I'm back in it. That's how fast you can get to anything. You can go in and pick the siding gallery. You go to Canyon right there. You can pick the colors. You can look at all these right there, go through. You want to go back to that menu or any menu, you can get to it right there, go back, pick another one right there and go to it. They're all in here, as you can see. So that's an example. If you want to see drone videos, again, you didn't have to go to this, but if you want to look at different products, so let's look at this one here. It's going to go outside because the drone videos are too many of them. So you get an idea. I'm going to show the product right there. Your drone video. You can come exit there. And then again, a brochure. If you're doing stonework or some other stuff, you might want that in there. There's brochures, and we can put brochures on anything in there and put menus on it if you want them as well. So that kind of helps you with that. And then go into, at the very end of each section, there's going to be an investment section like this. Again, I didn't go through all of it. There's more, but in the investment section, you can click here and just talk about them at the end of it. Again, you went through everything, you showed them everything. So now you're telling them, hey, here's the most important considerations when improving your home. I came out, did you like the ABC company? It's a product, did it cover everything you need? Was my insurance protection right for you? I'm here as your representative today. Was you feel comfortable doing business with me? Basically, I'm asking them, are they happy with the first 4 so that we can isolate this just down to the money. That's where you want to take them, is just down to the money, because that's where your sales guys can offer several solutions to get them there. So that was siding. If I want to go back and look into windows, or I'll go to gutters or next. Excuse me on that. Scott, if you want me to skip windows, I can. I'm gonna go to gutters next. I'll go back to windows if you want. I'm gonna go right into gutters here.
You could skip windows for now. I don't think we'll have enough time with questions coming, but
yeah, got it. I'll rush through this. I'll just kind of get them through.
There was one question quick came up just to make sure. Do you need internet access to access this in the home?
No, you can have it both ways. We have internet access setups and we have offlines as well that we offer.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff.
No problem. So you have concerns, and they look just the same, in case anyone's questioning that. So it looks just the same. This one right here, to give you an idea, to show you, I have the internet one up on yours that I showed. This one's an offline, just to kind of show you how the difference are. Okay. And some of the ones I showed earlier was online. So concerns right here, go to the gutter concerns right there, neglecting your concerns. It talks about Angie's List. It talks about can cost you your health. This is about gutter problems. You might talk about, hey, the roof boards, did you know? And paint that picture for them. Say, this is what can happen, folks. I see your leaks. This is what you have. And if it didn't work on those boards, go to the rafters. If it didn't work on the rafters, show them the fascia. If it didn't work on fascia, you got the walls. Let them know that it leaks down through here, and this is what you end up with. Cracks and mold, and then, of course, causing basement leaks as well, sorry. And then get in there. And then, again, if you have audio, you want an audio, you don't have to play this, you can, but it plays audio.
Lazy Larry was a little lackadaisical about his home. Yes, Larry was very lazy. He never fixed his leaky gutters. They leaked from the lightest rainfall.
So we can go there. We use Lazy Larry around here a lot. We're after hearing that, making fun of our guys. Anyways, you got videos here. Big storm coming, ABC gutter, hurricane leaf. So I'll get in a big storm coming, talks about gutters.
Is your home's gutter system up to the task?
It takes them through this whole thing and shows the gutters and the problems.
Guard your home
and
with an
I'm watching my
ABC
time, so I'm moving
seamless
through
steel
these.
gutter system.
Video menu, you can go back. You don't have to pick this one. You can go this one, but I will go to this one here.
Smart homeowners understand the importance of keeping damaging water out.
Get it? And go back to the venue menu, and you got your hurricane leaf protector right there. So this walks you through that whole setup there and explains this. I know you guys are going with that now. And I'll push through right there. It walks them through that whole process, shows them right there how it works. I'm speeding through this run right here as well. And again, ends up talking about some of the other things there as well. And then you have a brochure at any time that you can click through on the brochure should you want to. If you want to compare it right there. Before and after gallery, you can take them through the gallery with the images, and I'm going real fast. I hope they show basically like this, showing the clean look of how it can look on their home. Again, up close, and just different options to show them. And you can have as many of these in as you want or as few as you want. So I'm just kind of walking through stronger, better, bigger, let them know that, hey, these are very strong. And then again, why they're strong, why they hold more water. You know, drone videos, you've seen these before, but it's the same drone videos you can use for gutters. It shows the gutter ones just the same. You click on that and go. Gutter guards, you got hurricane leaf. Some people want some other ones as well. There it is right there. The details of that right there shows this, shows clean picture right there. And again, you can continue on like that. And this is if you wanted to do another one. Some people might have something else, and I'm just letting them know it's there. Okay, we can put anything else in on the different presentations. So that's gutters, soffit and fascia. I'll skip that. It's the same kind of setup on time. I'll get right into roofing here. Roofing, we have a roofing 101 that walks them through. You know, your roof makes up 5% of the construction of your home. However, it protects 95% of your investment, everything below it. You might get into some of these items here, basically, you know, letting them know this is so your sales guys can get them to talk about this. Hey, do you have any of these problems? Can you see this? I noticed on your roof, I saw some issues when I looked at it. I know that we have a lot of wind damage we saw right there. If you want even more than this, you can go here. You don't have to go here. You could skip it, but I could speak to a video that shows storm damage and wind damage, and I'll speed through it, but basically shows the wind hit and hail hitting, what happens underneath, underneath your shingles, etc. Again, ice damage for those areas that have it. It talks about now if you want to choose a metal roof, this is different. I get it, but it shows some of the percentages there. Is it noisier than another roof? So it comes on in, it says no. It lets them know the different decibels of other ones. Should they ask that? You might have an engineer type customer and they're asking those questions, and I get it. They talk about roofing material here as well. what do you think a steel roof would cost? It goes and gets some price comparison, gets into cost versus value, walks through the different cost versus value there. Roofing video, steel roof, never shingle again.
An ABC seamless steel roof far surpasses the life of 3 asphalt roofs, and overall, it's lower in cost. Not to mention the savings on energy.
Let them know that as well.
Seamless steel roof.
And then go to the next one. You got a roofing brochure here. You can go through the brochure at any time you want to do that. Again, everything can be accessed within seconds. ABC shake right there, same thing here. And now you can look at your roofing colors and pick different ones if you're interested in the different ones. And it goes through all of them as well. You can go back here and pick any one you want, or skip past that if you want. You can go back to roofing right there and say, I don't want to go there. Roofing galleries, drone videos, dare to compare. So at the very end of that, I'm got through this. I want to go to my investment options. It goes back to that same investment page. You finished. Now you go right into taking your customer there on the same ending right here as the other one, which you already saw. So I'm watching time. So that's kind of an overview of that. I guess we could go to, let me walk a little bit through pricing and some of the stuff and what we're offering you guys. I'm going to go to the end here. Hold on. I have it in here. So typically I'm going to go investment here. Wait for that to come up because it's at the end of this. What we do, keep in mind that our typical prices run about $4,900 to $5,900 depending on products. To set this whole thing up for everybody. And then it's usually $28 to $34 per rep, per user per month to run everything in the back and put it on our site and servers and some of the minor changes and things like that. But I want to make sure you knew that first, what our typical pricing is. So I'm price conditioning you. Yeah, I know everybody does that, but I want to make sure you know what typically people pay because of what the people before you have done. You're able to take advantage of this for a lot less. You can ask Scott. I gave him a price originally would it be for the different franchises, and he came back and said, well, you might come back thinking it was going to be higher than that once I start putting some stuff in. It wasn't. It came in much lower than he anticipated, and you can ask him about that, and he can speak to that after this here. We want to make sure it really worked for everybody out there. So we'll put your whole entire presentation together, that whole thing, everything you saw like that, for $19.50 per presentation per franchise. That includes all the current ABC products, the content, everything you saw here is an example. The products of siding, roofing, gutters, soffit, and fascia. It includes the whole separate company story for your company, your location, your company brand, everything there. Includes a separate cost versus value reports. And there's other things that are separate as well for your particular location. There's a setup fee that's set up in our system. It's $150. The discounted monthly user is not the 34, so it's $28 per user per month. And if you want to add other products, it's discounted. For instance, you want to add windows or doors or something like that, it's $500 per product to add those. And that's just a kind of a price we have set up. We'd love to meet with you guys to go over what might be your exact needs. Scott, did you send this email out to everybody? Are you going to send it?
I actually sent it right before you showed this page, so everybody should start seeing it within the next couple minutes.
All right, cool. So you'll get an email that looks like this right here. When you get that email, it basically says, we hope you enjoy the presentation. And then it gets into next steps for taking advantage of this offer. You can reply via the email with your contact information. Let us know, hey, I'm interested in moving forward with this. We'd like to do this for our company. That'd be great. And or we can click here as well. And you can click here to set up a meeting, discuss your specific needs. And it goes and it says the same offer right there on that email. If you click here on that particular section right there, you click there, you're going to get something that looks like this here. You're going to go ahead. How long do you need? You're going to pick a date that you want to book with us to go through this as well. And maybe just pick 9 a.m. right there. You're going to enter your information in, your name, your information, your company name would be different, ABC Seamless of X or other. And then phone number, mobile optional, your URL is optional, but I'd like to have it because it's going to tell us where to go to find out all your information. So we can, when we speak to you, we already have a heads up on that. And then list the products with ABC. If you do all of them, put all. If you have special ones that you did, let us know that. And any other products you offer. So we're prepared to show those to you as well with a bunch of other examples of that and Windows, et cetera. Just so you know, as I mentioned, just Windows alone, like I saw that. Again, I already mentioned this, I know, but we're doing all the top window companies in the nation. So all these different products, we already know them. Once you get that information in, you confirm it and you have a bookings confirmed, you'll get something that looks like that, the bookings confirmed. And I think that's it. Hold on. Oh, here's this information here. If you want to have this right in front of you right now, and I could speak to the team now if you want, or any questions you might have.
There's a few comments. Looks fantastic. Love it. The idea also was a message coming in here this would be great to offer to the ABC Seamless franchise system for the products that we offer. That's kind of the idea. So with that price point, I mean, I know how much we paid. I'm not going to tell you on the call here, but it was more than what you guys would invest, quite heavily more than what you guys invested. So we have this available as a resource for you guys to pay that $19.50 plus any other resources that you want to put in, which I think comparative to any other platform we've ever used. And the easiest, you could change this. It takes a week to change or less, sometimes a couple days. You can have whatever photos and videos in there you want to, your own commercials. I mean, it's really, as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer to take advantage of using a system like this. But it's really up to you. And that's what, Jeff going through that as fast as he did. And a few comments on micro machines. He talks so fast, but I think he did fantastic. Honestly, he talks fast to get through it, show you the bare bones of it. And then you basically decide on what you want in the system and make it your own. We want to make sure to offer the steel siding, the steel gutters, the steel roofing. That's what we want to make, and the hurricane leaf protector, we want to have that available to you. However, we know that not everybody carries the same protection system or windows or any other product. So we wanted to take care of that for you. I think we did a great job. There's a few other things that we'd like to discuss after Jeff. When you're done here, I'll let you keep talking, okay. But just keep on going through some stuff. If you guys have questions, just chuck them in the system here.
Yeah. Any questions? What I can do, Scott, if it makes sense. And again, I don't know if you want to use it on your platform, but I could show them an example of a window company. or something like that. Is that something?
Sure. Yeah. You could do that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay with that. One of the companies that, and I have testimonials from like Windows USA, that top CEO, number 7 in the nation. If you don't mind me playing that, I can give them an idea of what
Go
we
ahead,
do
play whatever you
sure.
think can add value.
What I'll do first is let me play a couple testimonial videos, if you don't mind, and then I'll show Windows. Here's Mike from, if you guys know of Mike, he's the CEO of Windows USA. He actually had us come out to his location as well. But they're number, I think 7, in the nation, or I can't remember the number, but the top. So just so you know what we're doing for other window companies.
There you go. Hold on.
I'm Mike. It's on a Saturday for, we're talking
about. This is Jeff Lennon. I'm with Mike.
COVID helping
owner. What'd you call your title? Say it so I say it right.
CEO.
Okay. CEO. So what do you think about our company, Mike?
I love it. You guys are cutting edge. You're ahead of the curve. You're forward thinking, and you guys have been incredible to work with. Have created some amazing products for us and our company and our people. And I see a long, thriving relationship in our future. So
awesome. Well, they're a great customer of ours. We have a lot of custom work we've done for them, custom estimates and custom other things. So then we have, here's Kelly Roofing. Window and door. I apologize.
Oh, you went too far.
I always say Windows.
The main presentation. So that's it on.
That's me showing him the first time he's seen his presentation.
Good job.
For a second. So, all right. So what do you think? This is the testimonial from Kelly Window and Door, not Window and Door. And as President, CEO, Mike Kelly.
What on the first pass, you guys knocked it out of the park on the first pass. There's only going to be a few tweaks that we have to do along the way. That's it. And we'll be ready to go out there and knock people's socks off.
All right.
So
did I tell you I was going to hit it at the beginning and we're going to get close to being right? I told you that, right?
Oh, yeah. You did. You did great.
Well, so for the rest of you out there that see this testimonial, wherever you are, probably there, I'm not sure. This is what I tell everybody. The same thing. I tell everybody, I'm going to hit it just like you're thinking. I'm going to make sure we hit it. And we do become friends and business people together because I want to do it right for the customer and all that. And so with that being said, I just want to make sure that you know that we can hit this at 95% or come close. Is that about where we're at? I don't want to put things in your thing. We can come close.
We're closer than 95%.
There you go.
And that's first pass without any drafts or anything. So that's very cool. It saves us a lot of time. You guys have been very professional to work with, and that's what we enjoy most.
Thank you. And then let's go into, I'll show you kind of a window presentation here example. This is out here in California. American Vision Windows is #1 out here for both Arizona and California. So here's just kind of another company story, maybe intro. I have a little time here. to show. So it comes on in. Again, this is their intro. Everybody's a little different, branded, but you can come in and this is a company story. I'll go to their company story. You see their company story might be similar, but about us might be some of the things about us. You can get in there. It'll go through some of this. It talks about during COVID.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Kathleen, and we are owners of American Vision Windows.
Bill's a great
so
guy.
Bill and I were talking
Dealt
the
with
other
him. He
day,
asked-
just
he
with
goes, "Where were
everything
you my
going
whole life?"
on.
And
When
I
we
built this
started the
first
company,
presentation
it
for
was
him.
really a way to revolutionize
again,
the
like I
window
showed you, could
industry,
blow
but
these
at the
up
same time serve our
or
customer
shrink
well.
there, but they're talking
It's
about
just gonna look-
COVID example on that one because we do all their virtual and in-home presentations. Same. It talks about if any of the people out in California know anyone out here in California, they're on the TV and radio. You can't watch television without seeing their commercials out here or on the radio, listen to them. But you get an idea. They install a lot of windows. They're number one, these two locations. So just kind of walk through their company story. Maybe there's more videos. I'll skip past that. Maybe there's something similar like that there. Maybe they have reviews and they have reviews in different locations. So this would be the reviews, and in the reviews, we can go to locations and show it. If you guys have testimonials from people, we can do that as well. You can click on any one of these and go there. Let me skip the next slide. Sorry about that, because there's different locations. As an example of a video testimony, if you guys have some video testimonies you want to add in yours, that's all part of your company story, part of your included thing.
Our windows have a story to tell.
Maybe you
Shouldn't
have a
yours?
testimonial from someone like this talking about their windows or whatever other product you have. It could be anything.
Hello, my name is Scott Glass, and I just
You know.
received 48 beautiful windows from
So it
American
could be something
Vision
like that. It
Windows.
can go back to the video menu. Many of you people might know who this guy is. Dennis Prager, talk show host. He's also a customer of theirs.
Showroom was beautiful.
Talks about the showroom.
It's
Talks
large.
about the whole thing.
There is a large variety
Again,
of
you don't have
products
to
to
listen to
choose
testimony
from.
just to get the
Everything is well laid
idea.
out.
We skip to the next slide there. They have locations. Maybe I'm gonna skip past that. Talks about accountability, one-stop accountability, all one location. So we'll put any kind of charts and things in you want. We're going to tell your company story the best we can for your particular company. We do a lot of research when we start with each company out there. And then again, 5 reasons, maybe click through those, things like that. And then again, maybe different counties, different locations, different stuff that they wanted in there. And then again, I'm shooting through this whole thing. And then a question, kind of the same question. If you match your needs, you feel comfortable doing business with our company. So if I want to show windows of this particular one, I can click back to the main thing here. And let's show you, there's windows and doors in this one and baths as well. So you can sit there right there. Why new windows maybe gets into right here, the top 5 signs you need new windows. So we can get into something like that and get into that whole thing. Maybe it's talking about increased resale value, protection from weather. Again, just if you don't do windows, also think of this as any of your other products as well that you might also offer. It talks about noise pollution. Maybe it talks about, guys looking through your window, the locks on the windows, etc. This talks about leaks around a window, does the thing. I'll skip past that, but basically shows an opening in your window. The leak could be this many problems looking through your house, like leaving your door open all day and night. Home energy cost. Again, I go real fast. If you haven't figured out yet, I'm a bit ADHD, sorry. Shooting through this here as well. You can go here and talk about, you're paying for your windows, whether you buy them or not, because you're losing the energy cost. This shows charts, any of this kind of stuff you might have in. And again, that's just shooting through, and I'm shooting through these coming on in. Basically, let them know the replacement windows are an investment, not an expense. Maybe you get into intro, click here, something like that. Again, through the different windows, retrofit, you can go through any of it. So you get an idea of like that, windows, doors. Doors might be something like doors here. And then again, get in the different door styles of French doors, and you pick anything. So all this can be set up in your company, good to go. And that's just an example of that I have for everybody. So
yeah, just a second here. I'm trying to see if Randy's available to talk about how his experience was with you as well, because he's part of the ABC organization, and
yeah,
that's got a lot of
hi,
value.
Randy, are you there?
I am here. How are you guys?
Hey, fine. How you doing, Randy?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to hear from you, sir. I had a testimonial on yours. I was going to play it, but I had to ask you first. I didn't know.
Well, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want for sure. But I think Jeff completed mine 8 months ago. Right, Jeff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And if you guys decide to get on board with that, be prepared to dig out some information for Jeff. He's pretty thorough on that part of it, which in the end worked out really good for us. And we are using it for presentations out in the field.
Awesome. You know,
and I have questions or answers. If anybody has questions, we can talk about that a little bit. But
you know, do you remember, Randy, when you got a call from corporate, when we were looking into building your presentation, and corporate called you? I don't know if it was you, Scott, or one of you guys, I don't know who it was, but called him up and said, who the heck is in there digging out all our information, pulling everything off our website from A to Z? I mean, everything. something along those lines.
Actually, it was Jerry Byers, one of the secretaries called me up first, then Jerry Byers called me up. And I said, Jerry, you gave me permission to do that. So, but it was a lot of information, and it does take a while. You have to have a little patience, but you know, the end product's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we got through that. I remember having so much stuff. I'm going, geez, there's so much here. So if anyone needs extra stuff, we have it all. So that's it on my part, Scott. I mean, I gave everybody 10 extra minutes to go to that email and click on it if they want before lunch. I can answer questions as well. We'd love to have everybody listening. We'd love to have you. We're going to treat you all the same. We'll take care of you. We'll get everything done for you. We're used to doing this. Any of your other products, we've most likely done them. So it'd be real quick for us on those as well. I can come back up on full screen if it matters here. Come back up. Any questions we got out there? Any more questions?
I think the biggest part of this is for us to try it ourselves and kind of analyze, with the analytics portion that you showed, seeing how it works for us. But I want to open up the questions. Randy has been so nice to be on video, looking very sharp, very attractive today, Randy, and opening up his mic to answer a few questions. So if anybody wants to answer or ask a few questions on how they utilize it in their business, or how maybe they've increased profitability or sales with it, go ahead. This would be the time to do it. Somebody texted me. They agreed that you look very sharp today.
Oh, thank you. You guys are so nice.
I like what Bill Scroton, if I say that right, he wrote, I am freaking blown away. So many receptions, so many resources available at the touch of a button. And then another one, Tom wrote something else, and nice. So awesome. So thank you guys, whoever's writing these things.
Grant,
are you able to provide some feedback as far as what you feel your clients feel, your customers feel when using it in the home? Lauren asked that question.
Well, I'll try and answer it. It provides a bunch of credibility on our end of it that we actually put together all these resources. If they have a question, certainly what is on that presentation, probably you won't touch all of it in a presentation, but if somebody has a specific question and that presentation, you can show them right away on your computer instead of having to stop and find something. Jared, my son's sitting here. Jared, what is the screen we use on the back side of this so we don't have to sit right next to the customer and we can distance away? Have they talked about that? I got in here late. I was out on a sales call. So it's a side track, works on a USB cable, and you can sit 6 feet away from your customer or however you want to do it.
Randy, on that, do you need an external power on your guys's? I've been looking at those for us because I kind of thought about that as well. So you can have your own screen as well as your customer.
You do not need external power, just the power of your laptop computer is all you need.
Okay.
And Jared's going to grab one, and I'll just kind of show you what it looks like, or you guys what it looks like, so you know. But that presentation brings us up to speed in a modern day rather than the old pitch book for sure. And I'm not too computer savvy, but I figured it out, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys saw too, when Jeff went through this thing, I mean, how user friendly it is. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, basically you just click and play.
I don't know if you guys can see this. Here it is. Oh,
that's cool.
It just clamps. It actually just is magnetized, and you can put it on a magnet to your laptop. And then when you're at a presentation, you can slide it open and set it up for the customer to see. So you can kind of configure it however you want based on where you're sitting in the home. Like so.
Sure.
So hopefully that helps. And they're called stands. Is it Sidetrack? Sidetrack. It's just basically a monitor, and you control the computer right where you're sitting at their kitchen table or remotely, however you want to do it.
Good question in chat from Ed. He said, "Can the presentation be done on iPad?" So I mean, establish that.
I apologize. Sorry about that, Chris. I thought you were finished.
No, you're good.
Okay, half of our customers are on iPads. Yes, it's size. In fact, that's a good question because I want to make sure everybody knows it's size appropriate. It doesn't matter what you're on; it sizes to that screen. You can show this on your phone. I mean, it'll show up on your phone, so it sees what screen you're on, and again, size appropriate. And yes, we got half our people on iPads showing these. Probably maybe more. I don't know. And we test everything on all the products.
I guess question on my side too would be, so if you can go on phone, we all know like a website to a phone to an iPad, it all kind of changes the functionality. So do those menus that are just click menus right away on the iPad or the computer, do they become drop down screens? Is there a little bit of a learning, obviously there's a learning curve, but how does that change from the iPad and the computer to like the phone, let's say?
It doesn't, because it's size appropriate. You just click on the links, it takes you right there. So this won't look any different like that. Maybe on a phone, it'll squeeze it a bit, you get it, but nobody's really showing these on phones, but just giving you the idea. It works super well. You saw the one I just showed you from the window company. Their advertising agency also work with me direct, and they had a whole boardroom of people clapping when we're done, if you saw this whole presentation, because I was showing them how it works on everything and they can go out and hit it. So yeah, it's very versatile there. And the same with the tools they can work, you can access. So you can actually be on, if you want to see your sales guys around the field showing the presentation, do they listen to your meeting yesterday and show stuff? You could be on your phone at lunch. You can click through and check it out right there. So it works with everything.
I've used it on the iPad and it works very well on the iPad multiple times. So no issues there whatsoever.
And Grant, maybe a question is when you guys give us data changes to make and list of things and stuff, does our team get it? Do we get it out right away? I mean, do we get it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure, people know that.
There's definitely a few different things that we changed because maybe we do a little bit differently than Randy. Windows would be obviously maybe an example of that, amongst maybe other things, but that would be basically the main example. But yeah, I mean, super easy. I mean, basically you send it off, and I mean, you guys had it done within a day. So
yeah, a lot of time we get stuff on a Friday night. We work through the weekends, everybody, and nights. We got a full crew going all the time.
Hey,
and we'll
Jeff,
get out. Yes, sir.
The reason we use the laptops is because 2 screens on an iPad was very difficult to figure out. We could not do it. And I don't know if anybody's figured that out.
I'm currently working on figuring that out. I've checked into some external displays, and the only concern that I have is basically the power source. I can buy external displays that have a built-in battery. But if I didn't have to do that, I probably won't, just because it's one more thing to obviously charge. But like for us, because we utilize Leap. I don't know if you guys do or not, Randy. But obviously all of our Leap stuff's all built for iOS, for iPad. So for us to kind of get out of the iPad would be tough. But yeah, I'm looking into that. So once I kind of find out, I'll let everybody know.
Right. A lot of people show it side by side as they're going, and others, but you do have the option to put it aside that. So
we had a terrible time. Our IT guy looked all over, and we decided exactly what Grant said. Too much stuff to keep charged up, so we just gave up on it and bought laptops and the side screens.
A main way you could do it now, if you had the upgraded version of Zoom too, is you could be in a Zoom meeting and broadcast it from your phone to the iPad. So you could run both at the same time that way also. Right. So you just would mirror your screen. That's pretty much the easiest way to do it without buying external hard drives and other components to add to your iPads, I would assume.
Yeah, you don't need them, but if you want to have that option available to you, it's there. Most of our customers probably don't do that, but it's available. You can show it side by side. You can show it however. And again, this is great on the virtual, as you mentioned on the virtual. I did virtual today, so yeah. Awesome. We'd love to help all you guys out there. We take each one of you individually, and we very much appreciate your business, and we treat it like that. And my contact information was there. Plus, I'm in the chat room there. We put our information there. So, and we can do this pretty quick for you. So,
yep.
Hey, Jeff, Leanna Yoder had a question. She said, is it something you could let the customer play with by themselves, or do we need to control it ourselves as a client?
Thanks, Leanna, on that. Yeah. No, you can let the customers use it, because all you got to do is explain to them, hit this tab, hit this. They really can't break it, because all you have to do is go back to the main menu, click, show them if you break it, click back to the main menu, go through any sections you want. So there's nothing, and it has hidden slides if they want to click down to that. So if you have information in there, I don't see that there'd be any information there you wouldn't want them to have. So there you go. It's pretty easy.
Randy, would you or Jared send over the links for the devices you purchased? And Grant, once you purchase yours, will you do that? Will you do the same?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
do that. We'll figure that out.
We'll get a.
Chris Ingstrom added something as well. You could obviously, AirPlay it to a smart TV or an HDMI cord. So if they have an HD TV at home, you could just hook up to their TV as well, which is another great source as well. So another alternative, obviously a little bit less if you didn't want to have to buy an external display. And you wouldn't have to do it. It's just more of a convenience. So that way, you can be, apart from your customer, but you don't necessarily need it. So.
Yeah, eventually your guys will be all cable technicians, They have to bring a stack with 9 different cables.
No.
Hey, Scott, we bought those side tracks on Amazon.
Okay.
Right there is
what are they, $300?
$300 on Prime. Yeah.
Do you want to send me that link so I can put it together and get everybody the link to where they can look at what best option fits them? And that's the thing, is like with technology, like each will work differently for the person that's using it. I'm more comfortable with an iPad than a laptop now. I was more comfortable with a laptop for a long time, but it's what you feel the most comfortable using. So just remember that you don't have to buy whatever device everybody else buys. So,
or you could just show it the way it is, right, as well.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Thank you. Great presentation was said.
Thanks, everybody. It's very nice meeting you.
Everybody that was involved today, I just want to make sure we keep on saying thanks for everybody, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. Chris, Grant, Randy, thanks for being on here. Jeff,
thank you.
Tom, thank you, sir. Everybody that's on the call, we eclipsed 50 participants today that were logged in, so that's pretty impressive, the most we've ever had. So it's pretty exciting. And then this will all be recorded as well. And right now we'll just leave it open here for the next few minutes, but then we're going to play some drone footage here for the next hour until we start back up at 1 o'clock. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Elizabeth, Deb, Jerry, thanks for being. Ted, thanks for you and your team too. Did you find the video, buddy?
No, I don't know where exactly it is on this computer.
Should just be in a folder.
It's not on, it might be on this other zip drive. Let me plug this other zip drive that's sitting on the table in.
If not, I could find it. I'm just going to leave it open.
Okay. Let's see. Hey, I found it. It's on the other zip drive. I got it right here.
All right, cool. And I opened up sharing to basically anybody, so just share it up, and then we'll have this play as everybody's taking a quick hour break here.
Yeah. See if I can put it on repeat, because it's only 49 seconds long.
No, it should be the 2021 should be 17 minutes.
Oh, that's the one you wanted. Okay, I thought you just wanted this drone footage one. Okay, hold on. I got that one here right here. No problem.
All right, Graham.
I got you.
So just to make sure, we're going to be playing this video a few times during the break. We'll start right up back at 1 o'clock. Everybody on the call.
There you go, Scott.
Good to go?
Yep, it's playing right now.
Talk to you in a bit. Give me a call if you need some.
Let me look. I can look and see everybody. With just the glasses, the guy with the glasses, that's Yoder, I think. That's Yoder. No, that's not. No. Who is, I don't know. I'll look when we. I can't look right now because I'm sharing this video. I know Yoder. Let me turn the.
His name does not show up, you know. But it was on there like a still picture yesterday.
In a way. Hey, I got a good picture of you.
10 minutes, everybody. Whoever's listening, got you on the ear pods or the TV or the computer or the iPad. 10 minutes. We're going to get rolling again. 5 minutes, everybody. 5 minutes till we start rolling again. Second half of the day of the sales training day. Hey, Matt, I just saw you come on. All you need to do is share your screen. It's open to multiple participants. So whenever you're ready to check out your PowerPoint presentation or whatever you're showing, just feel free to take the screen away and try it out. Okay, we'll start up here in about 4 minutes.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, sir.